I'm interested to know how the family coped and also how much you relied on them in a way. But from the perspective of the children who are grown up now,
yes,
I wonder how they managed, and did they seek out information from you? You know, what was their approach? How old are they, by the way? Well,
now my daughter's 38 and my son's 36. And say nearly 8 years ago when I was diagnosed, they reacted in two totally different ways. My son, he was very, very inquisitive. He was firing questions at me all the time. He wanted to know everything. My daughter, very concerned, sat and listened to everything I said, didn't say a lot, and she reacted totally differently emotionally, I think. She was very quiet about it, and she took it in a totally more reserved and quiet way.
Yeah.
But that's how they've always been anyway.
And did that influence how they adjusted to it in the long term, or not really?
I think between the diagnosis, going through chemotherapy and actually going in for the procedure, once we told them what was going to happen, and the important thing I think was that once they realised the sort of positive attitude that we got towards it, it quietened them down quite a lot. They knew then that it was inevitable that I was going to go in for a procedure, but I think it put their minds at rest a little bit, the fact that we were so positive about it, and they could see a positive outcome to it.
Did anything ever shake that positivity for you later, or at any time?
No, I think the only thing that upset them a little bit was the period in between the two sets of chemotherapy, because I went through my first set quite easily, as I've said before, and I was getting to the stage where I was eating reasonably normally again, and then I was told, oh, you can't have your second set because your counts are low, which means that we're going to have to postpone your operation for a while, 2 or 3 weeks, nearly a month. I think not upset them, but I think that they'd got their sort of thinking processes set for a certain date when I was going to go through this, and that then suddenly got put back for nearly a month.
Yeah.
And I think that not upset them, but it concerned them a little bit, I think. But I think against that, they could see that I was progressing quite well, that the chemotherapy was working, and it was doing exactly what the consultant wanted it to do. So if this is the right way of putting it, it was probably going to make the procedure a little bit easier than it was going to be.
What do you see as the value of the family supporting you? What's the influence there in relation to all the things that could help? How important is the family's help?
It was paramount. To me, as the patient, I knew what I was going to have to go through, but it certainly helped me. I think it was very reassuring to know that because the attitude of certainly my children was right, that it was going to help Lynn, my wife, whilst I was in the hospital and going through it. I knew that I was lucky that my daughter worked in the city. I knew that she would visit me every possible minute she could. There was always going to be people who could get Lynn into hospital, although she drives. My son, they would both go out of their way and be very supportive. Anything that she wanted, you know, you took that for granted, that was going to be there, and I think that's all credit to them. Okay, but there again, I think their ages had something to do with that. You know, when I went through this, I think kind of would have been about 32, 30, 31, 32, and Ian, my son, was probably 26, 27. So they were at a reasonably good age to take it on board and be able to manage that. And they were very, very adult about it. Yeah, great, very good.